Hey there guys and gals, it's me nirex and welcome back to Unreal Engine C++ programming tutorial. So in this video we're going to actually talk a little bit about the component classes. We have already learned about actors. Now let's go ahead and create a C++ class actor component. Click next. It's going to be my actor component, create class. I'm not going to change the name, I'm not going to do anything. It's going to take a little bit of time to add the code to the project, and it's going to begin compiling automatically for us. Alright, once that's done, the Unreal Engine will actually give me access to the code within this guy here, and even if it doesn't really matter. The files have already been created for me, so we're just gonna go ahead and take a look at what they are. Okay, so an actor component is basically just an actor. So you see that it's actually being driven from UActor component. If I move that there, you can see that iInterface, whatever. It's just being taken from UObject. They're not exactly the same, but they work kind of the same. All right. So, if you know C++, if you have ever coded in C++, you know that actors and classes and components. You know what classes and components are. All right. So classes are basically just told you it's going to take a long time. So classes are what we use to define things that are in the real world to create what's in our mind. All right, and components are classes being used within other classes. So let's say we have a student, and that student class has name, has a age, has a bunch of stuff. That student also has a city, all right, and the type of the city is city, all right. So it has a birthplace, and that birthplace is of type city. That city is another class that we call an actor. I'm sorry, a component class. All right, Unreal just did its compilation. All right, so yeah. Now, as you can see here, actor component has a sort of a Lego kind of a thumbnail. So what it means is that it's a thing that you can use in other things. Alright? So, and that's basically all there is to a component. Now, I just created it to show you the interior of our actor component. As you can see, it's extremely similar. It's not identical, but it's very similar to our actor. So it has a tick, our actor, but this guy has a tick component. Alright, so actor, let me just put them side by side like that. Alright, so we have a tick here. This guy also has a tick. We have delta time, we have tick type, we have this tick function. Alright, so we have two more things that we're going to talk about pretty soon. Alright. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and use this created actor in my actor right here. I'm going to go ahead and use a normal actor. Alright, an actor that, or rather a component that already exists. Alright, so once again, just to recap, components are just actors being used within other actors, okay? Or classes being used within other classes. Now, in Unreal Engine, actor component is just a component that can be used within an actor. Now let's go ahead and see how it works inside the blueprint realm. So I'm going to go ahead and create a blueprint class of type actor. I'm just going to go ahead and click, or rather hit enter. I don't want to rename it. New blueprint is the name of it. So I'm just going to open it by double clicking on it. Now this is what we call the blueprint editor. We don't care about that. What I care about is this guy, this green button on the top right here. Add component. With this, I can actually add something into my blueprint. I can, let's say I have a character, I can add an inventory system to the guy. Alright, I can create an inventory system, then I can add that inventory system to my character. Or I can add the same inventory system to a chest. Alright, so I can do a whole bunch of stuff. Or I can do some other things like combat components. So anything that has combat components can do attacks and stuff, can take damage, can do attacks, like turrets, like enemies, like the character. I could also do targeting components. Then the guy will be able to actually target stuff, and I'm just trying to give you examples of what components are and the use case of components. Alright, so as you can see, common components here are audio, sorry, audio, geometry cube, particle system. These are the things that we use. But I want to just add something quite simple. I want to add a mesh component or static mesh down here. You can see it, static mesh. I'm just going to name it static mesh. All right. So let's go to our project. Now I can bring my actor on the top, in my scene right here. All right. This is my actor. It's empty. It's just being represented. If I play this game right now, you can see that it's gone. There's nothing in the space, okay, but it's being represented to me. So static mesh will actually allow me to put something in here. All right, now there's no mesh right there, so let's go ahead and well, can I create a mesh here? I don't know. I should probably import something, but yeah, so I can just make a cube, right? I can just push something in there. All right, so that mesh component actually has a mesh now. Alright, so that's all there is to a mesh component. Alright, so I can give it a mesh component, then I can add whatever I want to that mesh component. Alright, I can do whatever I want with the mesh component. And that's basically what components allow you to do. They allow you to add functionality, add capabilities, different kind of capabilities to your classes and actors and all that good stuff. Alright. So we've already seen how to create a mesh component in our blueprint. It's extremely simple. You just open it up, add component, mesh component. That's it. That's all there is to it. But how do we do it in C++? Alright, so we want to do exactly this thing. Exactly this guy right here. Alright, let's go ahead and do it. Now, I don't give a damn about my actor component. I just want to work with my actor. Alright, so first thing we do is actually quite simple and easy. We don't need this private thing here. It's an exception. Alright, so what I want is a mesh component. Now, these are the things that you just have to memorize. There's no workaround with this guy. So what I want is a static mesh component. Right? This has to be a pointer. And I'm going to name it static mesh. Alright, this is my static mesh. All good. All simple. Now I have a static mesh. Let's go ahead and compile and see how it works. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be any different, and it's going to take a whole bunch of time to compile. So, they actually said that they made something like an iterative compiler that, the next time we compile is faster than the time before, but it's all BS and bullshit. It doesn't work like that. It takes 30 to 40 seconds every single time. Anyways, point being, when you do something like this, alright, when you create a mesh component like this right here, it's just an empty pointer. You haven't initialized it, you haven't given it anything, so you need to do that. Alright, but how do I do a mesh component? Let's try the basic C++ way. Use static mesh component, like this. Alright, and there's going to be an issue because we didn't use it, so I can just say something like that. Incomplete type is not allowed. Alright, let's see if there's anything in there. There's nothing in there. It's just not allowing me to do this. And the compiler actually failed. For a good reason. Line 12 is messed up in C++, and this is line 12, definitely. Alright, so this has an issue. I can't really do something like this. Alright, so what is the workaround? If you've ever used a library like DirectX or any library that uses COM directly or indirectly, you know that there are things called factories, and they create objects for us, alright? And so this is exactly the same way in Unreal. Something creates objects for us. We don't do that ourselves, alright? Something does it for us. So let's go ahead and try it. What the name of the thing is create default subobject. Alright, so we create one subobject. Subobject means, an object within another object. Type is going to be the exact same type as this guy. So it's going to be useStatic mesh component. And we're going to give it a name. So how do we give it a name? Quite simple. We just do something like static mesh. But there's an issue here. We need to have it as a text kind of a thing. So make sure it's text. And there we have it. We have our mesh component. Let's go ahead and see if it works. And it doesn't, but let's go ahead and check. I mean, it does, but not quite. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and let it compile. It was faster, that's nice. Let's go ahead and bring in our thing. It has a mesh component, but as you can see, nothing can be changed here. Everything is locked up. Everything is disabled. Native components are editable when declared as U property in C++. This is the warning message it's given us. Alright, so we can't edit anything. We can't change anything. It's all messed up. What do we do? There's a problem here. Alright, so let me just go ahead and bring in my actor again. Select the static mesh, which we have created, just like here. Now, this is a bit different. It has a default scene root as its subobject, and it is this guy as the subobject of this guy, but we don't care. Well, we only care about this guy. Alright, so static mesh is giving us this error, or rather this warning right here, that native components are not editable unless they're declared as U property. Alright, so let's go ahead and see what U property is. Alright, let me go ahead and delete that guy. And go back to this guy right here. Alright, so we need to do something with U property. Alright, yeah, I wanted to show you the documentation, but never mind. Let's just go ahead and do that. U property. So U property is something exactly like U class, and don't worry if this seems like too much. It's just the beginning. You're just gonna do this as if it's like talking. It's gonna become second nature to you. So yeah, don't worry about it. Alright, so U property is something you declare before your properties, before your members. Alright, and that's it. That's my U property. But there's an issue with it. Something needs to be within this guy right here. Okay, varx. Alright, and if you read the comment down here, it says these macros wrap metadata parsed by the Unreal header tool and and are otherwise ignored when code containing them is compiled by the C++ compiler. Right, so Unreal has its kind of edited, kind of a customized build tool, compiler maybe, and that kind of compiler, I'm doing some some double quotes with my fingers. So that kind of a compiler actually helps compile things for Unreal Engine. All right, it compiles C++ in a different way than normal C++ is compiled, and it uses the U class and U property. It actually looks at these guys. All right, it must have a generated body. It must have a U class. It must have U property. So they should be there. All right. Let's go ahead and see what happens now. There's still going to be issues. Alright, it's compiled, so let's go ahead and bring it in. Do that. It still isn't allowing me. What the hell? Okay, so there are arguments that we can give the uProperty thing, the uProperty macro right here, that allows us to begin editing or doing stuff to this guy within Unreal Engine. Alright, so we need to be able to make a link between C++ and Unreal Engine, and the way we do that is with uProperty, uClass, all those kind of bullshit macros. Alright? Okay, so how do we edit it? We do it very simply, like edit anywhere. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Now, good practice is to give it also a category, so category equals static, or rather meshes. So, yeah, there we go. So we have a property, it's edit anywhere, a category is going to be under meshes. Let's go ahead and check this out now. Alright, the code is compiled again. Let me just bring that in. And as you can see, it's now all unlocked for me. I can edit it, I can change it any way I want to. Let me just go ahead and do something like this, and maybe bring that guy up a little bit so I can have more room to maneuver. So as you can see, it's already there and it's ready for us to use. Let me just go ahead and bring a sphere in, and as you can see, my actor that I've created with C++ have the same functionality as this guy. Well, not entirely, because this guy has a scene root, this guy has a static mesh, they're different, but they're the same. They're just technically different. Alright, so as you can see, this guy has been made and we are pretty goddamn happy about it. And here's the thing, the category that we made for our static mesh is actually right here. So I can have a category of different things that I've made with C++, and the editor, or rather the designer, the game designer, the artist, they can work with these pretty easily. Alright, we as programmers do the heavy lifting for almost everything there is to Unreal Engine. And so yeah, the only things that we learned today that are actually important is uProperty, alright, use static mesh component, and create default subobject. So yeah, it's quite simple, and you can create anything you want with the default subobject. You can create a static mesh component, you can create your custom component, whatever you want, as long as it is an actor component. Right? It must be an actor component. Let's go ahead and take a look at this guy. So this is a mesh component, and no, I did it again. Shouldn't have done it. Should not have done it, because that does it. Alright, so peak definition. Let's just go ahead and close that guy up. Go here, use static, or rather use mesh component. It's going to be faster because it's been opened. Use primitive component. Use scene component. Wait, there's an interface. We don't give a damn about that. Use scene component, and again, you can see that it leads up to uActor component. So as long as it's an actor component, you can create it with this function right here. Create default subobject, takes an actor component and give it a name, whatever name you want. It's static mesh right here because we gave it static mesh in the blueprint. And then that's it. And you have to put it either here or here. But you know, this is the way to do it is you put it in the thing, in the guy right here, in the goddamn constructor. All right, and here's another point I wanted to make about Unreal. Unreal Engine has, despite having an amazing design, it has something that really bugs my mind. It has a garbage collector, and that's absolutely garbage itself. Alright, garbage collector, not a good design. So you could do something like RAII. You could apply RAII here, and when this guy is created, make that guy anew, and when this guy dies, just kill that off yourself, delete it. But yeah, so if that is a question for you, because we're creating a new pointer and then we're not ever deleting it, that's because of the garbage collector. All right, if that question has ever occurred to your mind while looking at the code I wrote here, it's only because Unreal Engine actually has a garbage collector that does it for us. All right, and there's actually nothing to be worried about. I decided to show you, some of the Unreal Engine documentation as well, just to let you know what it's all about. All right. So we have a couple of things that are related only to uProperty. It's not a bad idea to go, read this stuff yourself. So the description says uProperty values are declared using standard C++ syntax with the additional descriptors, such as variable specifiers and metadata placed above the declaration. So basically what it's saying is that you do this part C++ way, you do this part the Unreal Engine way. Now, I already told you that there's a garbage collector, and yeah, here it is, talking a little bit about the garbage collector. I just hate this thing. It has a very bad impact on the performance on every goddamn thing. That's why C++ has never even had an idea of garbage collection, and it's a thing for languages that are safe, again with those double quotes. So yeah, these are the things that you can use. Localize, transient, duplicate transient, export ref. All that good stuff are here. And even if you look at it, we even had edit anywhere. So if you just click on that guy over there, you can see that edit anywhere is also here. So these are all the things that you can use to determine how the property actually works. Alright, they kind of work like attributes in C# or in Python, or rather property in Python or attribute in C#. They're kind of like that. So if you're familiar with them, this guy shouldn't be at all hard to understand and realize. Okay, so guys, that's been it for this video. If you have any questions at all, do ask them in the comments. I'll try to get to you as fast as possible. And if you enjoyed this video, do leave a like. That would help me a lot, and I would appreciate it a lot. And if you enjoyed this video like really much, then consider subscribing. That would actually help a lot. Anyhow, okay, that's not a mesh. Anyhow, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.